Hi, friends. Welcome to Direct Impact Broadcasting. The network of growth and transformation presents S.O.S for Leaders, where your host, Tawana Wilson, will be sharing leadership and personal growth strategies. Let's jump right in.
Hi, friends. Welcome to S.O.S for Leaders. I am your host, Tawana Wilson. I am the founder and CEO of Trendy Elite Coaching and Consulting Services, and I am happy to welcome you to our very first episode of S.O.S for Leaders. This podcast was formed to give you practical tips that you can use in both your personal and professional life. And so for today's tidbit, we will be talking about goals. And if you are anything like me, you might have gotten off track with your goals. We are ending the first quarter. We're in the last month of the first quarter. And I know for myself, when I look back over the quarter and I had some fitness goals to get into the gym 4 to 5 times a week, I have not met that goal. I am in the gym, but not consistently. And it's almost like I'm on 51st dates with the gym. And so sometimes you have to recalibrate. And there are some things that you can do to get back on track after you might have gotten off track with your goals. There's no need to be intimidated. It happens. There's no need to feel like you failed. It does happen, but you just need to recalibrate and get back on track. So today's podcast will talk about 4 simple steps to getting back on track with your goals if you have fallen off. Step 1, self-examination. Sometimes we have to look at our goals critically and figure out if they even made sense in the first place. Is it possible that our goal was too lofty? Was our goal something that we really couldn't attain? So when I think about my fitness goal of 4 to 5 times a week, being a new mom, maybe 4 to 5 times a week was a bit hefty of a goal. Maybe I should have thought about 2 times a week or 3 times a week. So sometimes you have to see if your goal even makes sense, if it's even possible for you to do. Step 2 is really to be clear about the goal. You have to set clearly defined goals in order to be able to shoot for something, in order to be able to measure it. And so what is that goal? Sometimes we just say, well, I want to eat right, or I want to work out, or I want to be healthy. And we say those things, but there's no clearly defined goal with those particular aspirations. And so step 2 is simply being clear about what our goal is that we're trying to reach. So when I think about, just use an example of the fitness goal, I want to get in there, maybe 3 times a week is more reasonable in the morning at 5 a.m., maybe taking a fitness class. So getting some clarity around the goals. Step 3 is to create a schedule. So now that you have your goal in mind, what is your game plan? It's helpful in order to achieve your goal is to break it down into smaller bite-sized tidbits that are more reasonable for you to accomplish. And if you break it down into bite-sized tidbits, what happens is you start to reach those tidbits and you start to feel successful. You can celebrate those milestones in accomplishing those goals, and all of those bite-sized tidbits add up to your greater goal. And so it makes you feel more accomplished. It makes you stick in there and you don't fall off as fast because now you are setting yourself up with a game plan that you can actually achieve, and you're taking smaller steps. So sometimes we have to break that goal down into smaller steps. And step 4 would be to check your progress. So not only do we have to set our goal, be clear about our goal, have a schedule with our goal, we also need to check our progress. How many times have you set a goal and you've not checked back in with it? That's one of those things. It's like I set a goal and I didn't check back in. So really you are not holding yourself accountable to reaching those goals. So if you set yourself a monthly check-in or every week check-in, every other week check-in would be reasonable in order to reach your goal. I know for me, when I look at fitness goals, and I'm using that because that's top of mind, that's the one I've let get by me this first quarter. I like to check my goals every week. I like to see where I'm at each week. Did I get in the gym the amount of times that I said that I was going to get in there? Am I eating healthy? I usually, if I'm really focused, how much water have I been drinking every day? Am I on target with that? What is my weight? I like to weigh myself at the beginning of the week and then at the end of the week to check my progress on that. And so checking your progress is very important when it comes to reaching your goals. So to recap on what we have talked about so far is 4 steps to recovering our goals once we have gotten off track. The self-examination, making sure that our goals make sense in the first place. Setting the goal, so making sure we are being clear with the goal and defining the goal. And when I think about setting the goal, it reminds me of a study I was reading about. And so Harvard did a 10-year study on goal setting. And what it showed that when you write down your goals, it is very critical in your success. And so what they did is they asked students if they had a set of clear written goals and specific plans for their future. Out of the students that they surveyed, 84% of those students had no goals at all. So they didn't have any goals just going through life. 13% had goals, but they hadn't written them down anywhere. So they had goals in their mind, but they hadn't written them down anywhere. So there's that no accountability. And then 3% of the students had goals and had written them down. So what they did is they interviewed the students again after 10 years. And believe this is pretty interesting of what they found out. So 13% of the class who had goals but hadn't written them down earned twice as much money as the 84% who had no goals at all. So that lets you know goal setting has a direct impact on your bottom line. I don't know about you, but I like to have a little coins in my pocket, a little cash in my pocket. And when you set clear goals, then it shows that there's an impact. And then the other part of that study is, which was even more significant, is 3% of the students who had written their goals were earning, on average, get this, 10 times, again, 10 times as much as the other 97% of the class. So that is, whoa. I mean, that lets you know something. So the 3% of the class who had goals and had actually written down their goals were earning on average 10 times as much financial resources as the other 97% of the class. So writing down your goals is significant. It significantly increases the likelihood of success. But unfortunately, most people won't take the time to write down their goals. They won't take the time to even goal set. So that's why it's important to have a clear set goal in mind. Step 3 was create your schedule. Now that you have your goal, you need to have your game plan. Make sure that it's wrote down. Make sure that you got a schedule of how you're going to achieve this. Celebrate the successes along the way, those smaller steps. And then step 4 is check your progress. So sometimes you have to recalibrate, check your progress, whether that's on a monthly base or on a every week base. You have to check your progress for that accountability. And it might be even helpful for you to get an accountability partner. Accountability partners help us achieve our goals. They help us stay accountable to our goals. So you can get an accountability partner. You can get a coach that will help you stay accountable to your goals. But as you go into the second quarter here next month in April, then we want to make sure that we are starting the quarter off on a great place, ready to tackle our goals, ready to be successful in the second quarter. And so I am so excited about what I plan to do in the second quarter. And I know that you all are going to do some pretty amazing things in the second quarter as well. So I thank you for taking the time out to listen to this podcast. We'll be bringing you other episodes of practical and professional tips that you can use in both your personal and professional life, because what I know to be true is that if you are doing well in your personal space, it sets you up to do well in your professional space. And we are all busy, and so we need tidbits and tips that we can apply readily today. So thank you. Thank you so much. Continue to listen to this podcast. Make sure you are catching our leadership experts on Leadership Tidbits with Coach T. Wilson on that podcast. And until next time, my friends, have an awesome day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of S.O.S. for Leaders, where Tawana shared nuggets of wisdom that you can use to win in life. Follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and connect on LinkedIn. And remember, the secrets of success in your life resides inside of you. When you know what your strengths are, you can utilize them to live an impactful and influential life.